Wizard, starring Peter White. Please welcome Peter White.
Hello. Yes, hello. Awesome. Hi, everybody. Get excited. I'm hilarious. Here we go. Get a look at me. I'm a man, technically. I'm not like most men, and I learned that from a magazine, because they did a survey, and the question was, what is your ultimate fantasy? And apparently most guys said being with two girls at the same time, which I thought was really weird, because I said being a wizard. Because it didn't say sexual fantasy, you know what I mean? Like, it just said fantasy. Like, if it said sexual fantasy, I would have said still being a wizard, actually. Because that would be awesome. Sex as a wizard? Come on, watch me pull a rabbit out of this. And the best part would be at the end, when I'm done, just a flock of doves fly out. That's beautiful. But yeah, I'm not like a manly man. Like, I don't know how to build anything or break anything or whatever it is men do. They don't tell me. But like, I was in my apartment the other day, and I was trying to put mini blinds up, and I got 2 screws halfway in, and I was like, screw it, the sun's not that bright. I don't need this. It's not important. But like, I think back to my dad, and my dad was like a manly man, right? And like, when he was my age, he already had a family. You know what I mean? Like, he already made people. He created life. I can't create shade. It's really tough on the ego, you know what I mean? But like, I still get asked to do manly things, right? Because like, I live with my girlfriend, and if there's a noise in the middle of the night, she's like, are you gonna go check that out? And I'm like, no. Why would I do that? It's not gonna be anything good. It's nobody breaking in to give us cake or anything. It goes against every natural instinct in my body, you know what I mean? Like, my gut's telling me, fuck it, close your eyes, it'll be fine. So don't worry about it, we're cool. And why do I have to do it, you know what I mean? Why don't you go check it out? Why is this up to me? And she's like, because you've got the penis. I'm like, it's not a bravery rod. What do you want me to do, fight him off with it? Just God. Hope he gets uncomfortable and leaves? That's not it's not a good plan, is all I'm saying. We're gonna close our eyes, go back to sleep. That's our move, you know? And she's like, well, what if it's a robber? I'm like, well, then he's probably gonna take our shit. What robbers do. Well, what if it's a murderer? Then why the hell would I go to him? I'm not making it easier for him. If he's here to kill me, I'm making him walk all the way back here, all right? Maybe he'll get winded. I can get away. I don't know. I don't have a good plan. Yeah, we live together, my girlfriend and I, and we live in an apartment, and we're on the 8th floor, and she's really paranoid about robbers. We have these glass patio doors that go out to what should be a balcony, but isn't. It's like one of those French balconies. Apparently French people are scared of depth or something. I don't know. We don't have a balcony. We just have doors that are big windows. And every night before we go to bed, she locks the doors. Like, she won't go to sleep without locking these glass patio doors. I'm like, who the hell are you keeping out? You know what I mean? Who's the master criminal who's scaling 8 stories straight up and then turned away by the locked glass door? Just hanging out there peering in like, oh, I can see all the shit I want to steal. If only there was a way through. And she's like, no, if someone's breaking in, then they'll have to break the glass. It'll give us a little bit of extra time to react. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great. Now I have time to shit my pants before I get beaten up. That's awesome. Thank God for that. Great plan, honey. Yeah, we live together, and we sleep in the same bed because we're not creepy. And it's really tough because, like, I'm really bad at falling asleep, which is embarrassing because I do it every day. You'd think eventually I get the hang of it, but I haven't. Just lying there in bed every night staring at the ceiling. Like, I've done this before. Like, I know how to do this. And it's tough because she's great at it. Like, she'll go to bed and be out instantly. Like, she'll fall asleep mid-sentence, you know what I mean? Like, mid-her sentence, you know? Like, she'll be talking, like, I think tomorrow we should go for... And then just be asleep. Which is great for both of us, you know what I mean? Because, like... There was more to that joke, but you decided to clap, so... I get robbed of it. But the other night we went to bed, and I fell asleep right away. I was like instantly out, which was awesome. And she couldn't fall asleep for like 2 hours, and I know that because she woke me up to tell me. What a weird decision. She was just looking at my peaceful, sleeping, dreaming body and thought, yeah, he's gonna wanna know about this. Should wake him up and inform him. I said, like, what, do you think I was gonna fix it or something? Like, oh my God, you can't sleep. Oh shit, I'm sorry, I was hogging all the sleep. My bad. But it's like a weird, like it's a girl thing, you know what I mean? Like she's awake, so I should be awake. Like when she's hungry, I should be hungry. Like I hope she's never on fire. But she's great. We're just making fun of her because she's not here. It's easier. We're gonna keep going, by the way. We're not done. I don't have a lot of time to get this out. She read me a question once out of a magazine. It's one of those questions you ask your boyfriend, and based on his response, you try to learn more about him. And you may have heard it before, but she asked me, if you were gonna be stranded on a deserted island for the rest of your life, what's the one book, one CD, and one person you would take with you? And I was like, that's stupid. I'm stranded. What, did I pack? No, that's pretty good. And why am I taking a CD to a deserted island? What, am I gonna play it on a coconut? No, this is dumb. I'm not answering. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know about the book or the CD, but the person I would take would be you. And I was like, you selfish bitch, why would you do that to me? What, you gotta die, so I gotta die too? That doesn't make any sense. It's a deserted island, what are we gonna do? I don't know how to hunt, why wouldn't you take MacGyver? No, you know what? I've changed my answer. You know what book I would take? 10 Ways to Kill and Eat My Stupid, Selfish Girlfriend. And the CD would be Phil Collins' Greatest Hits. I dated a girl for 8 years, and it was like that 16 to 24 where you're supposed to date a bunch of people and learn how it works, and I didn't, so I don't. And like, so it's really tough for me to date someone who's been with other people before, which I know is really stupid and petty. Like in my mind, every girl should wait to have sex in case we date someday, which you should do. But it's stupid. And so, like, it's really tough for me to deal with that. And so I could never date a girl who had a kid, you know what I mean? Because, like, that would just drive me nuts, just seeing it every day. Like, oh, yeah, hey, cool. There's what happened when you banged a guy that wasn't me. Yeah, that's awesome. Come here, you little constant reminder. Let's go to the park, play a little game called Which One's Your Father? You have to know. You gotta know. So it was really tough to go back to dating other people because like 8 years was like most of my adult life, so it was tough to go back. And my friends are idiots, and they're trying to help me out. And like the day we broke up, my buddy's like, oh man, I know what'll fix this. I know what we can do. Strip club. We'll get like 4 guys, we'll go to the strip club. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go get really, really horny and then leave in the same car together. You know what'll get me over this? 4 aroused dudes and me in a closed space. That's awesome. It's ridiculous. And like they're trying to give me advice too. My buddy's like, all right, man, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna start dating a new girl. She's gonna ask you how many girls you've been with before. What you do, you take the actual number, divide that by 2, that's the number you give her. And I was like, I don't think that's gonna work, man. She's probably gonna be a little suspicious when I tell her I've only slept with half a girl. There's gonna be some questions, is all I'm saying. Like, was it a midget, or was it a regular person? I might as well go ahead and tell her the full 1. I don't think it's gonna scare her off, you know? And like, I wouldn't want to start the relationship by lying to the girl, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to just meet her and lie to her. Like, not that I'm against lying to women, I think that's very important. But I just wouldn't want to start that way, you know what I mean? Just because I don't understand how it works. Like, do you just keep lying till they find out, then run away? Like, just one day, 4 months in, she's like, you're not really the guy I thought you were. Ha-ha, smoke bomb disappeared? Seems like a lot of work, that's all I'm saying. And my buddy's like, no, man, don't worry about dating, all right? Just get out there and pick up some girls. You gotta go meet some girls, that's what you gotta do. And he's like, you gotta be committed, too, because it's like a full-time job. I was like, what? Like, run me through a day. He's like, all right, man, you gotta get up, you gotta go to work, because girls want you to have money. Lunchtime comes, you gotta hit the gym, because girls want you to be in shape. After lunch, you go back to work. After work, you go home, you get all cleaned up, you get all looking good, smelling good. You gotta like get out to the bar, you gotta be drinking, dancing, buying girls drinks, hitting on them. If you're really lucky, 2 o'clock in the morning comes, you get to go home with one of them. And I was like, that's like 16 hours of work. So that you can have an orgasm. Here's an idea. Wake up in the morning, masturbate, now you got the rest of the day to get shit done. Read a book, do a puzzle, the world's your oyster. How are you not doing that? Well, I don't know, what do I know? I'm not very experienced, which is something that never really bothered me until I read this. This is in a magazine recently. It was a survey all about Canada, and according to the magazine, the average Canadian male in their lifetime has 23 sexual partners. And I was like, 23? Jesus Christ, I haven't even had 23 cribbage partners. That's a lot of people. And like, I'm not stupid. Like, I knew I was lagging behind the curve, but I need like 2 soccer teams and a set of twins to catch up. It's a long week, is all I'm saying. But I kept reading. It said the average Canadian male has 23 sexual partners, but the average Canadian female only has 10 sexual partners. And I was like, then who the hell are the guys banging? That math doesn't work out at all. You know? Like, either the guys are lying, or the girls are lying, or gay guys bang a lot of dudes. Like, a lot. I worked it out. Like, if the average female only has 10, that means the average straight man could have at most 10. That means in order to make up the difference, the average gay man would have to have 140 sexual partners. 140. Like, I've never been that interested in gay sex, but man, you can't argue with those numbers. Even if you're ugly, that's still 70. Like, I love Wendy's hamburgers, and I hate Harvey's hamburgers, but if you told me I could get 140 for the price of 10, fuck it, I'm eating Harvey's. So I guess I'm gay now. That was what a weird way to find out, really. Mathematically proved it. Oh, man. I know, but people still hate gay people, and that's weird to me. Like, I don't know if you guys do hate gay people. If you do, stop. There, I fixed it. We're all good, don't worry, thank me later. But I don't know if you guys know any homophobic guys, but if you don't, you should, because they're hilarious. Because homophobic guys, the big fear in life is that gay men are just gonna have sex with them. Just no hello, no nothing. Like gay men are ninjas or something. It's such a weird fear. They're just worried they're gonna wake up one day and find a note on their pillow like, Dear John, banged you last night, love Carl. Like, no! No! P.S. Now you're gay too? No! Those sneaky bum ninjas. It's so ridiculous, man. They're just people. What the hell are you worried about? And there's guys like, no, you can't even hang out around gay people. Don't even be near them because they'll try to convert you. Like, really? Convert you? What are they, Jehovah's Witnesses? Honey, turn off the lights. The gays are coming. Pretend you're not home. They'll talk for hours. Jesus. All their literature and stuff. Like, if you're a straight guy and you hang around a gay guy for an afternoon and at the end of it you're gay, you were gay to begin with. You know? Nobody's ever been peer pressured into banging a dude. You know? That's not how gay works. It's ridiculous, man. I got hit on by a gay guy last time I was in Toronto. Only I didn't know that's what was happening. I thought we were just kind of hanging out. And it was after a show, and he came up to me and he was like, "You're really funny. Can I buy you a drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, for sure." And so we sit down and we're just kind of talking. And we're just talking normally, but every once in a while he'll say something and like rub my arm. And I was like, "Oh, what a gentleman." That's so nice. You never see that anymore, you know what I mean? Don't judge me, you weren't there. And so we keep talking and we keep drinking, and like 3 or 4 drinks later, he's like, so, I'm a filmmaker. I have this premiere coming out next week. You should come do it with me. And I was like, yeah, of course, that sounds awesome. And he's like, oh, cool. It'll be so great to have a cute guy like you there with me. And I was like, oh, we're gonna be best friends. We're gonna ride tandem bikes together and stuff. This is awesome. I hear you. Don't you dare. You weren't there. It was free drinks. And so we get to the end of the night, and he's like, so, do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. What's going on there? And he's like, oh, I just thought we could go home and have a little fun. And I was like, fucking awesome. What, do you have like an Xbox or something? And so he finally realized what was going on, and he was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I really thought you were into me. And I finally realized too, I was like, oh God, I mean, like as friends, yeah, I am into you. I just don't want to be into you. And then it got really awkward because I didn't leave because he was buying me drinks. Where am I going? But he got really uncomfortable and he left. And like I wasn't mad when he was hitting on me. That was fine, whatever. But I got really upset when he left. You know what I mean? Because I was like, what? Now that I'm not gonna have sex with you, you're just gonna leave? Typical guy. This is a completely true story that's not related to anything, and I probably shouldn't tell you. I peed myself as an adult, like in the bed. Like I peed myself. I was asleep and woke up in like a swimming pool full of urine. And it was like, what happened is I had 10 drinks and I went to sleep and I woke up covered in pee, which is really embarrassing. But it's way more embarrassing when you find out that the 10 drinks were actually grape juice boxes. Oh, yeah. Oh, where are you going, Dignity? Come back. It's true. I was 21. I was living on my own for the first time. I was with 5 guys I didn't know. There's no washing machine in the house, because why? That would make too much sense. And so, like, I woke up, and I'm panicking. I'm like, oh, and, like, I don't know if you've ever peed yourself as an adult, but your brain doesn't really allow yourself to realize that that's what happened. Like, you wake up, it's 3 in the morning, you're soaking wet, and my first thought was, is it raining in here? Why am I wet? And then you smell it, you're like, oh, God, that's pee. Somebody peed on me! That's the only logical explanation. And then it finally sinks in, and it stays with you for days. You can't make eye contact with people or anything. It's really embarrassing. But, like, I really panicked, because it's like 3 in the morning. We have no washing machine. And I'm not going to ball it up and take it to a dry cleaner or something. Like, just plunk a big bag of shame down on the counter. Here you go. Feel free to judge me. And so, like, I'm panicking, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm sweating, and I'm crying. And I'm like, oh, man, this room is really starting... Like, I threw it in a garbage bag, and I'm like, this room is really starting to stink. What the hell do I do? And so, like, I'm like, oh, well, pour a big bottle of cologne on it. And I'm like, oh, now this is great. Now it smells like pee and cologne. That's problem solved. And I panicked, and I threw it in a garbage bag, and I took it outside, and I'm like, I can't throw it in my garbage. And this is my thinking at the time, because what if somebody finds it? Like, somebody digging through my trash is gonna judge me for it. Like the homeless guy looking for bottles is gonna be like, that guy peed himself. What a loser that dude is. Jeez. And so in my head, I had to take it down the street. I took it like 5 blocks to a big dumpster and threw it in there. And it was the scariest walk of my life, because like it's 3 in the morning, I'm wearing sweatpants and I'm crying and sweating, and I'm lugging like a 50-pound bag of stuff through the street. And I'm like, what the hell's gonna happen if someone pulls me over? Like, what if a cop stops me? Like, what are you doing? Like, don't ask. What, do you have a dead body in the bag? Fuck, I wish. A dead body would be way easier to explain than this. Oh, man. And the sad thing is, I'm not even that big an idiot to justify this. Like people used to think I was smart because I used to have a real job. I used to be a real person. I used to be an engineer, and I quit because they're creepy. I don't know if there's any here, but if there are, don't talk to them. They're weird people. And I can tell you the exact moment I figured out they were creepy, because I was in a physics class in university, and the professor wrote this question on the board, and I swear to God, this is the question verbatim. It goes, a bear is sitting on a frozen lake. He's wearing a bulletproof vest. If you shoot the bear with a bullet that weighs 100 grams, and the bear weighs 300 kilograms, how far does the bear slide? And everybody in the class went, okay, and started working on it. And I was looking around like, are you kidding me? Like, is how far the bear slid really the important question here? How about why the hell is the bear wearing a bulletproof vest? You've all just kind of glossed over that one. Was it 50 cents, bear? Because it's not like he's in the ghetto, you know what I mean? He's sitting on a frozen lake. There's not a whole lot of drive-bys in the woods, you know? And more importantly, who put the bulletproof vest on the bear? Who sees an 800-pound furry tank and thinks, that guy needs more protection? This is unsafe. And so I got kind of mad about it, and I went and I looked up the course in the university syllabus, And the course is called, I swear to God, Applied Physics. Analyzing situations you will deal with on an everyday basis. And I was like, really? Every day? Every day this is gonna come up. Like, the only situation I can even imagine it is maybe to settle a bet. I know it's a stretch, but maybe you get really drunk, you bet a guy, you shoot a bear, he's gonna slide 5 feet. But like, even in that situation, I don't think the bear's just gonna sit there and let you measure him. He's probably gonna be busy biting your goddamn head off. And it's not like you could stop him. You made the fucker bulletproof. That was ridiculous. Sorry. But yeah, so I did school for a long time. Never really liked it, never got into it. Biology was always my least favorite subject. I always hated biology, except for one 30-second stretch in which biology was the greatest thing that's ever existed. Because we were learning about polio, which is very important in case you're ever traveling to the 1700s or sometime when polio was relevant. And the professor goes, polio is often transmitted through the fecal-oral route, which means if you hang out around human waste, it can waft into the air, you can breathe it in and get sick. But it's not really explained very well. And my buddy, the guy sitting right beside me, didn't get it at all. And the professor's like, polio is often transmitted through the fecal-oral route. And my buddy leans in, and in the most innocent voice I've ever heard in my entire life goes, you mean like ass licking? Probably not what he's doing. But like, the thing is, like, before I had a chance to laugh at him, before I had a chance to correct him, before I had a chance to do anything at all, the guy sitting on the other side of him leans in and goes, yep. And my buddy turns completely pale. All the color runs from his face, and he goes, my grandmother had polio! And it was the greatest moment of my life. It was number one, man. Number two, my second greatest moment of my life happened just a few weeks ago. I actually got heckled at a show by a drunk midget lady. I'm not making this up, I swear to God. And she was like full-on midget. She wasn't like borderline or anything. She was like, and like, it's sad because when I first saw her, like, I normally wear glasses, but I don't on stage because of the lights and my pretentiousness, so I don't actually wear them. But I saw her coming towards me. It was just this little figure, and it's all blurry, and she had a glass of wine in each hand. And I know it's really mean, but I couldn't really make her out. And the first thing that popped in my head was, who gave that fat kid alcohol? That's not appropriate. And then she got closer, and I was like, oh, it's a little person. I was trying to be respectful, but you know when you're overcompensating for it, and you're just too polite, and I'm like, oh, hello, madam, welcome to the show. and the thing is, it wasn't comedy. I wasn't doing a comedy show. I was emceeing a fundraiser for battered women. We were raising money. What are you owing me for? I wasn't hitting them. I was trying to help. Jesus. For the record, I'm against battered women, all right? Just gotta make that stand. So all it is, it's an art auction. It's just me pulling names out of a drum and an old lady wandering over to the wall and picking a piece of art and going and sitting down for 4 hours. There's nothing funny happening. I'm scared to make a joke or anything. And this lady's in the second row, and she starts screaming at me. She starts yelling. She's like, be funny! You're supposed to be funny! You're supposed to be funny! And I'm like, well, you're supposed to be working in a chocolate factory, all right? Sometimes things don't work out the way they're supposed to, all right? Just deal with it. But like, I couldn't say anything because I'm emceeing this fundraiser. It's not like I could call her out to the parking lot or something. Like, hey, let's go settle this, spend this money right, kind of thing. So I didn't say anything. But for the record, I didn't say anything, but for the record, I could have taken her. Just throwing that out there. And I know I said midget. You're not supposed to say midget. You're supposed to say little person, which I think is more offensive to me. Like, the word little is derogatory. You shouldn't use that. And so I've come up with a much better term because I was going through the grocery store the other day, and I realized that they don't call little chocolate bars little chocolate bars. So I think we can all agree that from this day forward, we should refer to midgets as fun-sized people. It's been like a really kind of tough week for me. I got a really wonderful present this week. I got kidney stones. Thanks, Jesus. That's a day. I don't know if you've ever done that before. It's like the worst pain that you've ever felt in your entire life. And it comes out of nowhere. Like 1 minute you're just peeing, and the next minute you're curled on the floor in the fetal position, crying, and you're still peeing, which is nice. Not only do you get the worst pain you've ever felt in your entire life, you get the warm embrace of your own urine to top it off. And yes, that is peeing myself story number 2. And it's really tough though, because like you don't know what it is when you get it, because you don't get the pain where you expect to get it. You get it in your lower back, which is where your kidneys are, but it's really hard to remember anatomy class when you've just pissed yourself. So you don't really know what it is, and I went to my doctor, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? And he's like, I think you might have kidney stones. We're just gonna need a urine sample. And I was like, you want me to pee again? What, am I, an idiot? No. Last time I peed, my insides exploded. I'm not doing that again. Is that how you diagnose people in this hospital? What, do you got a broken leg? Well, just run up and down this hallway a couple of times. See what's wrong with you. It was a tough week, man. I had a bunch of weird tests and stuff done to me. Like, I had a guy put a camera in my pee hole. He was a doctor, it wasn't just a dude. It wasn't just a curious guy in an alley with a digital camera or something. He was a doctor. And he told me about it first, like we talked about it, which I think was worse, because I'm in his office, and I'm like, how much is this gonna hurt? And he's like, well, obviously, we have to put a camera inside you, so the longer distance that the camera has to travel, the more discomfort you're gonna feel. And I was like, are you serious? Because that's awesome. Like, I knew it was out there. It took me 26 years. I finally found the one situation where it's way better to not have a huge penis. I was pumped, man. I went out into the waiting room. There was a black guy there. I was like, who's the loser now, buddy? And he was very confused as to what I was talking about. It's an odd thing to yell at a stranger. And I know, like, not to get sidetracked, but I know that's like the stereotype. And as a white guy who grew up in a mainly white neighborhood, you always heard stories about black men and their physical gifts. But you never really know, do you know what I mean? Like, I've got black friends now, but it's not really something as a grown man I can ask another grown man, you know what I mean? Like, hey man, I gotta ask you something kind of weird. I don't know if you're gonna find this gay or racist. Probably at least one of the two. And this happened to me recently. After a show, I was in the washroom, and I was at the urinal, because I pee standing up. You guys thought I was a sitter, but you don't fucking know me. And this guy came up to the urinal next to me, and he was a black gentleman. And what happened is, something fell out of his pocket. But I didn't know that at the time. All I knew is that I heard him unzip, and something hit my foot. And I was just staring straight ahead like, you gotta be kidding me. And why did I wear flip-flops today? Like, that was to the point that I wasn't even jealous anymore, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind having a big wang, but if you can pole vault with it, that's ridiculous. Oh, man. I don't want to offend anybody. I hope nobody's offended. I'm just trying to keep people happy. We all want to be happy. But I hate people who are too happy, like the people who are just so happy that it's clearly fake. You're like, nobody's that happy, ever. The people who just say, oh, yeah, if I could go back and do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing. Really, not one thing? You didn't mess up one thing in your life? There's not one day you shit your pants and you go to work or something you wouldn't want to do over on? Like, it doesn't matter how happy you are. You can be happier, you know what I mean? Like, picture yourself as happy as you can imagine it, then picture yourself just that happy, but with a new hat. You didn't lose anything, you got a new hat. Life is better, you know what I mean? Like, you can always get better. But the people are like, no, because if I changed anything, then I wouldn't be with the person I'm with, and the person I'm with right now is perfect. It's like, okay, fair enough, but like, if you think the person you're with is perfect, you guys have only been dating about a month and a half, and you got a rude awakening coming, because ain't nobody perfect, you know what I mean? Like, anybody here in a long-term relationship can attest to the fact that you might love the hell out of the person, but still, about 20% of the time, you kind of wish they were dead. You know what I mean? It's normal, it's true, you lie there in bed in the dark with your eyes closed, just listening to see if they're still breathing. Like, One more day. One more day. But I wish there was someone perfect. I wish there was perfect people. Like, I love that idea of a soulmate. And my girlfriend asks me all the time, do you think you're soulmates? And we're like, I say yes, because you can't say no. That's not good. No, we're gonna break up soon. But I love that idea. Like, there's just someone so perfect out there for you, and like the only reason your life sucks is because you haven't met them yet. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason you have a shitty job and an ugly kid is because you haven't met the right person yet. Like, that's nice. And then once you meet them, life will be great. Like, you can just quit your job and live off happiness, and your ugly kid will transform into a nice leather couch or something. It's a really nice thought. The only thing that nobody ever brings up, though, is like, if there's one person out there for you, just one person you're supposed to be with, there are 7 billion people on this planet. You're never gonna find that fucker. Never. Yeah, you hear people complain, like, oh, I can't find my soulmate. Well, that's because he's in a jungle in Peru. Where are you looking? Karaoke night? Like, that's not gonna work out. And even worse are the people who think they found their soulmate. I don't know if you guys know any of these annoying people. They've all been dating for like 20 years. Like, oh yeah, this is Tommy, he's my soulmate. We started dating, we were 14. He grew up in the house next door to me, he's my soulmate. It's like, really? You found your soulmate at 14 years old in the house? Now, you didn't even fucking look. You just grabbed the first thing that came along. You're not soulmates, you're lazy. Right? But what if your soulmate's ugly? What if you find out the person you're supposed to be with is just ugly as hell and you're stuck with them forever? Like, that sucks. You know, we all hate ugly people. It's true, we're conditioned to. Like, if you watch TV, everyone on TV, if they're ugly, they're evil. Every time, you know what I mean? Like, anyone on show, and it seeps into your brain. Like, I got onto the plane to come here today, and there was an ugly guy in the front row, and I was like, you're gonna blow this thing up. It sucks. I sat down next to this beautiful guy, I was like, thank God there's a hero on board. You save the day, I'll be the wacky friend, all right? But ugly people are important, you know what I mean? I know we hate them, but they're important. Because ugly people are the people who invent things and the people that cure things. Like, you can't invent something if you're beautiful. You're busy banging other beautiful people. You don't have time to be in a lab with Bunsen burners and stuff, you know what I mean? It's the ugly people doing that. And I know it sounds weird because we all know ugly people who haven't done anything with their lives. They're usually married to other ugly people, which is kind of nice, you know what I mean? Like, when you see two ugly people together, you're like, oh, they found each other. It's nice. It's like a fairy tale that you wouldn't want to see pictures of. But the thing is, if you see an ugly person who hasn't done anything with their lives, they don't know they're ugly. You know what I mean? Like, they're the people who are just hideously ugly but still think they're beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, still posting glamour shots themselves on the internet. It's like them and their two ugly friends with the caption, like, sexy ladies out in the town, and you're like, nope. They most certainly are not. Maybe somewhere, but not here. Oh, well, I don't know. It'd be easier if I was beautiful. I think life would be a lot easier. And first off, whenever people ask girls, like magazines always have these surveys, and they ask women, what do you want in a man? And they always say sense of humor is number one. And I'm here today to tell you that that's not accurate at all. I do this for a living. I should be killing it. I'm not. But even knowing that, I'd still rather be funny than hot. Because, like, you young hot guys, you can have your young hotness. That's fine, whatever. Because, like, in 50 years, you're all going to be old and fat and ugly, and I'll still be hilarious. Yeah. That's right. And where are the girls going to come running then? Old Chuckles McGee over here, yeah. So who will have the last laugh? Not me, because I'll be impotent, but that's not the point. But it's weird, because, like, in this job, people start this job, guys just want to get famous just so they can have sex with hot girls. That's the whole life plan. And, like, that never made any sense to me. Like, I always wanted to get famous enough that I could reject hot girls. That's always been a dream of mine, you know what I mean? To have hot girls come up to me and want to be with me, and me be like, no way, not a chance. No, look at you. No. Then reach back in time and high-five high school me and be like, don't worry, buddy, we get them back. We'll put them in their place. And when I say hot girls, I don't mean like beautiful, intelligent women. Those people are awesome. I mean like hot girls. Like the people who have just been hot their whole life so they never had to develop a personality in any way. Like the people you see in December and they're like completely tanned. And you're like, did you just get back from vacation? No? Cool, let's never talk again. No, but I gotta be tanned. I'm not pretty if I'm not tanned. It's December, you look like you've recently been on fire. Because like seriously, you see a girl like that in the summer, you're like, oh cool, she must spend a lot of time outdoors. But But you see a girl like that in December, you're like, oh, cool, she must have jaundice. Why are you that color? And like, I'm not gonna get famous, but if I ever did, I should say no to them, you know what I mean? Because they wouldn't want to sleep with me, they'd want to sleep with the fame, you know what I mean? Like, it's not me, I've been me for 26 years, it's yet to come up, you know what I mean? Like, well, 26. The first 12 I didn't really notice, you know what I mean? I wasn't 8 years old going, why would these hot girls sleep with me? God damn it. I have a bike, what more do these bitches want? This is a pretty cool job to have if you've got to have a job. But people think it's a lot cooler than it is. Like, I tell my friends from high school, and they're like, oh, you're a professional comic. Oh, man, you must pick up so many girls. I'm like, have you heard my act? All I talk about is peeing myself in bears. There's not a line at the end of the night, all right? But they're like, no, but you're on the road all the time. You must be out partying every night. And I'm like, I guess so. But, like, it depends how you define partying. If you mean, like, hanging out and getting drunk and meeting people and having sex, then no. But if you mean building an awesome bed fort in my hotel room, then party on. Because I have, and I will again. But don't judge me, because, like, if you've never had sex with a girl in a bed fort, then you are a lot like me. You can't do it, it doesn't work. And I'm not making this up either. Like, we have all day in hotels. Sometimes you build an awesome fort. And I was in Ottawa, and there's like a U-shaped couch in my room, and the mattress fit perfectly in the middle, and I was like, oh, epic bed fort. This is gonna be great. And so I built it, and I went and I did the show, and this lady came up to me afterwards, and she was like a middle-aged lady. I think she might have been depressed. Well, she looked depressed. Well, I was depressed looking at her. And she came up to me and she was like, you were really funny. Can I buy you a drink? I was like, oh, I guess so. And like, then she's like, do you want to go back to your room? And I was like, I guess so. I don't really know what you're gonna do while I'm reading Harry Potter in my bed for it, though. I'd invite you in, but it says no girls allowed. Thank you for laughing at my loneliness. That's awesome. And hard, too. Like, oh, I can picture him alone in that. That's awesome. Oh, man. But yeah, we do travel around a lot, and it's cool. Most of the time, they put us up in nice hotels and stuff. Like here, we get a nice hotel. But I was in a place called Nakwik, New Brunswick, which if you've never been to, good on you. It's their claim to fame. It's like a town. There's like 8 people in the town. There's still 9 fights every night somehow. And its claim to fame is it's got the world's largest axe. That's it. They just build a giant axe, and they're so excited. It's so sad. Like you get there and they're all pumped. Have you seen the axe? We've got the world's largest axe. And I was like, I don't think anybody else was competing. Probably could have won that by default. You know? Anyway, we were there, and we did the show, and they tried to put us up in a hostel. Only I didn't know what a hostel was at the time, so we're walking up to the building, and it says hostel on the sign, and I turned to the other comic I'm with. I'm like, Allison, how stupid must the people in this town be? They misspelled hotel. Idiots. I spent a lot of time recently in Alberta, which sucks. But I was out there, and I was in northern Alberta, and I'm driving through northern Alberta. My boss is actually driving, and I'm in the passenger seat, and we're way up north, and on the outskirts of this little town, like 3 hours north of Edmonton, there's actually a sign that reads, beware of HIV. And I was thinking, beware of it, like HIV is just lurking around town, hiding behind trees and bushes, waiting to jump out at me. And like, I laughed at that, but I rolled my window up anyway. You can never be too safe, is all I'm saying. But my boss is like a big Alberta redneck, and he sees the sign too. He's like, yeah, they say the HIV runs wild up here. And I was like, the HIV runs wild? What the hell is he talking about? 'Cause, like, it didn't sound like he was talking about the disease, and so I started getting really nervous, because like, I eventually came to the logical conclusion that perhaps the HIV was some sort of wild mythological creature that inhabits northern Alberta, not unlike the Yeti. And so like I said, I'm really nervous, so I make this stupid joke. I was like, yeah, hey, why don't me and you, why don't we run into town, round up a few guys, go out to the woods, see if we can't catch the HIV, huh? Made for an awkward 8-hour drive back home, is all I'm saying. So yeah, I spent like 8 months in this province. I didn't know anybody. And I was in a bar one night, and there was this girl sitting beside me, and like I just want to talk to somebody. Like I just want some sort of human contact. I'm not even trying to pick her up or anything. I mean, I am, but that's not the point. she's just sitting there and this music's playing, and I know it's a stupid line, but I was just like, oh, I love this song, that's awesome. What's your favorite song? Which, you know, is stupid, but whatever. And she looks at me and she goes, I don't really like music. I was like, you don't like music? Like, the concept of music upsets you? Like if you're walking down the sidewalk at Christmas time and you hear a choir singing, the first thing you think to yourself is, well, that's unpleasant. Is that what you're saying? And she was like, yep. I'm like, do you understand what you're saying at all? Like, what if you're in like a beautiful meadow and there's a gorgeous sunset, there's fireworks going off everywhere, which is fucking stupid because it's sunset, so you can't really see them, but whatever. And you just had a picnic, and the remnants of the picnic are all around you, and it's just 38 apple cores, which normally would be disgusting, but it's not in this case, because every apple was made of pure self-esteem, so every bite you felt better and better about yourself. And there's ants everywhere, but it's not even gross, because they're just shouting compliments and encouragement at you, like, you're beautiful, you're incredible, take it harder. Agreed? Not normally a compliment, but it is in this case, because you're getting absolutely railed by a solid gold Brad Pitt, and he's heavy, so it hurts, but you don't give a shit because he's beautiful. And he looks you deep in the eyes, and he goes, snaps his fingers, which is more of a ting because it's made of gold, but whatever. He snaps his fingers, and out of nowhere appears a slightly less impressive, but still pretty cool, sterling silver Dave Matthews and a pewter Perry Como, and everybody just stares at Perry Como till he leaves, because who the hell cares about Perry Como? And Brad Pitt looks you right in the eyes and goes, Dave Matthews is gonna play your favorite song. Now, what's your favorite song? Are you gonna say, I don't really like music? No, you're not, because they would beat you to death with their giant metal penises. So we were talking about homophobia earlier, and it's really bad. Like, you can't even give blood if you're a gay man. If you're gay and you try to give blood, they're like, nah, we're cool. We saved enough people. We don't need this. And I found out because I went to give blood for the first time recently, and I went to the Canadian Blood Services, who are good people, but have maybe the worst slogan on the face of the planet. Because their slogan is, blood, it's in you to give. And no, it isn't at all. Like I'm no biologist, but I'm pretty sure it's there so I can wake up in the morning. You don't have to lie to me, I'll give you blood. But anyway, so they give you a pamphlet when you go in, and it tells you all the rules, and that's where it says they won't take blood from gay people. And I was asking everybody, I was like, why not? And most of them gave me health reasons, but one old guy goes, you can't do it, it's wrong, it says so in the Bible. And I was like, I may not have read that book cover to cover, but I'm fairly certain at no point did Jesus go to a blood donor clinic. He just made that up. The only time it was even close was like the Last Supper. It was like, take this wine, it is my blood. But even then, no one went, wait a second, Jesus, are you gay? Because if you are, I'm not doing this. And like, it's so weird to me when people do that, they quote the Bible to prove stuff that just the Bible couldn't be talking about, you know what I mean? Like, no, the Bible clearly and explicitly forbids internet pornography. Really? It says internet? That's incredible. I would believe, maybe. But like, it's weird even that people quote the Bible, because like, if you quote the Bible to someone who doesn't believe it, it doesn't mean anything to them. It's just a book, right? And so a really fun thing to do, if you ever find yourself in that situation, just quote a different book back. Just pick a random book and go. Because they'll be like, according to the Bible, God is everywhere and he's always with us. Well, according to Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss, you're on your own and you know what you know. All right, thanks a lot for coming up, everybody. That's my time. Thank you.